Episode 451 of the 3G podcast. We were chatting a little bit before we went live, waiting on Greg to show up. You know how it is. There's a YouTuber. I've been watching his Persona stuff this last week. He doesn't have a whole lot of it, but we do agree on a couple of things. Like, he thinks Yukari is over-hated in Persona 3, which, I was prepared to not like her going into that game, given everything I'd heard, but I really don't get why the community doesn't like her, or didn't like her. Like, yeah, her accuracy sucks at the beginning of the game, but, that doesn't last all the way through. Yeah, apparently it's a common opinion, at least in the old school well, she's a little bit of a bitch.
Well, she's a bigger bitch in the answer.
Oh, I've never played the answer. But like she's mean to Junpei in ways that, like, I don't really find it funny. She's just kind of a cunt. But she kind of acknowledges that. See, this is the thing about Persona 3 storytelling that is a bit weird. The characters that you deal with start out much worse at the beginning of the game than they end up, because they actually grow and develop. And that's a little crazy, because in Persona 4, like, nobody really changes that much. And same goes with Persona 5. They really don't. I can argue it if you want. I wrote a list for all the characters. Okay, so, but you're dead set on just being wrong. None of their problems get resolved. Okay, well then, no, there's no growth. Acknowledging it but not changing is not growth. Not with his sexuality! And he's still embarrassed by it. Because it's interesting character development in a prominent JRPG series. It's not like I can talk about this with Final Fantasy. They haven't made any good games recently. I don't know. Anyways, he's a big Persona 3 fan, and I think Persona 3 is my favorite one too, but he's a little shittier about it than I'm willing to be. Like, the difference... What's wrong with Shinji? Halfway through the game. Yeah, but you don't have to use those ones. Well, whatever. It's a game of inches, in my opinion. I just like that the characters change more and change throughout the entire course of the story, rather than having, like, one big plot development, and that's pretty much all the growth you're going to get out of that character. But anyways, the point is, where I'm going with this is, one of the videos he posted that I saw, because, like, I was just letting the algorithm guide me, and then, after I watch, the algorithm feeds me 2 or 3 of somebody's videos, and then they're all interesting. I'm like, alright, I'll click on the channel and see what they actually have done. He doesn't have that many videos, but one of his videos is, I wish I grew up during the PS2 era. I'm like, oh my fucking god, now I feel like 1,000 years old. So that's where I was going with this. Not another argument about which Persona game is the best. I think it's funny on this podcast that we all have a different favorite Persona game. That amuses me considerably. Ooh, a perfect cold charm. It'd be nice if I had any space in my inventory. Whatever, I don't need that bow. I don't know why I'm holding on to it. I don't need this bow either. Get out of here. I don't need any of you bows. Also, that guy I've been thinking about inviting on the podcast, he posted another video earlier today, and it's about the first Icewind Dale. I'm like, I gotta fucking talk to this dude. I gotta! He's covering all the games! So, he's covering all the games I care about. I think it's funny. I sent him a message on his video, because I'm willing to comment on his stuff. Sending an email and planning out having someone on the podcast is a little more. Said, love your stuff, bro. Wrote a guide for this game back in the day. Nice to see this game is still getting some attention. And he went, that's actually awesome. People writing guides got me through so many games before I had the neurons to figure them out myself. I'm like, gotta have this guy on here. Gotta. Oh. I'm planting the garden. Somebody else commented and said, wow, I loved your walkthroughs for Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 and Icewind Dale 1. I remember reading them at work when I had no access to my computer. It was like replaying the games in my mind. If you're reading my shit because you, like, want to instead of because you need to, like, I don't even do that. So I don't know what's going on there, but that's... There's Weirs. What the hell? Okay. Yes. And it didn't help that it made your kilobyte count bigger. It didn't hurt. That's what I was going for. That version of English. What, people are doing that in guides? Oh, God. If your guide is over... If your text guide... If your text guide is over 2 megabytes in length, then you're wasting someone's time. Yeah, this is a ginormous waste of time. This is a ginormous waste of time. Ginormous. This is... Yeah. This would be mildly interesting as like a Google Doc, like a spreadsheet where you could actually look shit up, but as a text document, it's useless. Yeah. Yeah, like if I used like, okay, if I hacked into, I'd say hacked into, it's not really hacking, but if I did like a data pull using something like Infinity Explorer for Baldur's Gate 2, and then I used AI to sort the data and organize it and just posted the bestiary entry of every enemy in the game, including their equipped gear and all their stats, all that shit, would that make my guide better or worse? Because I'd argue it'd make it worse. Larger, but it'd make it worse. There's some stuff in there that I put in because I thought it sounded useful at the time that I wouldn't do today because now I'm like, it's just filler. Like, experience values for every enemy. No, that's way too much. That's way too much information. specialized for wasting someone's time. We, I mean, they haven't meant anything in forever. I used, well, too big or too little. I used kilobyte counts back in the day to kind of gauge how much work I had done, but what was I trying to shoot for every? Was it like 20 kilobytes a day?
You act like GameFAQs actually matters anymore.
I mean, it could matter if there was anybody that actually ran it that knew what they were doing. It's grandfathered in by Google, so you can get good traffic there if you post something worthwhile on GameFAQs. But like we're seeing that with NeoSeeker, they can get better traffic than other sites just by virtue of being NeoSeeker. So that's just how Google works these days. I don't remember actually listening to the voices. I must have had the sound down or off or... So Greg and I are pretty much done with the one game we were working on. We're gonna start full timing Shadow Labyrinth. And then I guess we've got Ninja Gaiden at the end of the month. Was that the 31st or 30th or something? So we'll see how much Shadow Labyrinth we can get done by then. But considering the fact that Jared's still playing it, I don't know. This might be a pretty long game, at least by Metroidvania standards. I just need space everywhere. I don't need that. Get out of here. I'm not going to ever use you. Why am I keeping that? That's fine. Not much better to do in the meantime. I should be doing more work on Rogue Trader. I don't know. I haven't really worked on it in... Well, I worked on it earlier this week, but only did a page. I don't know. We'll see.
I had Shadow Labyrinth for like a week and a half or so.
Yeah.
Because I wrote a review for it. I gave it a 71 out of 100. There's a few big problems with the game. Mostly centered around the combat.
Why? What's wrong with the combat?
It's just... There's not much to it, for one. I'm not a big fan of the ESP gauge, or aka the stamina gauge.
Yeah, that had me a little worried the first time I played it, and I was like, oh great, we have a fucking stamina gauge. Well, that just means you can't spam dodge roll, Jared. I don't know. I have no clue. I don't know. A 9 seems pretty high for a Metroidvania like this. I don't know. Especially one without any RPG elements. I don't really remember them. Can't remember the last time I used them for anything. Well, then you should be excited, right? He just bought the game half an hour ago, Jared. He's been hemming and hawing about it. in 2025 talk, this is the only thing that could get me interested in Pac-Man, is putting it in a Metroidvania. So, fair game, but you're correct, but your conclusion goes the wrong direction. You know what really got him to buy it? I told him earlier on Facebook, if he doesn't want to work on it, you can just tag in Jared. And he was like, "You snake in the grass," which made me think, fuck, I gotta mow my lawn. Man, it's bad out there. It's a fucking jungle. I don't want to do it. It's miserable. For a whole 10 days? No, we were getting close to the end on it, and I was just like, you know what? I want to know how I should prioritize my time between this and Shadow Labyrinth. So I'm just going to go fuck it. I'm going to set the game to as easy as possible. I'm going to blitz through everything I can. And I'm going to see when the credits roll. And like an hour later, I was looking at the credits going, all right, now we can tie this one off and then get to Shadow Labyrinth. Like, ain't no thing.
Yeah, Shadow Labyrinth is not a short game.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. Well, what do we like? If the combat doesn't evolve, how I don't know. They got to add something. I don't know.
You have a 3-hit combo, and that's all you get.
With you?
Nope.
They're never adding alternate weapons or projectiles or bombs.
Well, you have special skills, but those take the stamina gauge.
I don't know. I have to see that. That's cripplingly simplistic. I mean, you know, people give Souls games good ratings, and it's like, all right, so I've got like 4 weapons and fucking whatever, garbage.
IGN gave Skyward Sword a 10 out of 10.
Hey, who was it? Famitsu gave Final Fantasy 12 a 10 out of 10 or something like that. I can't remember.
I don't remember. They gave, well, that's Famitsu. They don't really grade on the game.
Who knows what they grade on.
IGN also gave one of the DS Zelda games like a 9.5. It's just fucking horrible.
You know what you got to do to get well, it's a Nintendo game. I understand why that's getting high.
Yeah, you know why they're on their knees with their mouth open.
Yeah. The review score for pretty much every Nintendo first party is just covered by fucking game journalist slobber. It's like, this is Donkey Kong Bonanza, and it's like, oh yeah, meta 9 out of 10. Sure, why not? Sure, yeah, one of the best games ever made. I bet. I fucking bet.
I've been watching people play it.
It's probably good. It's probably really good if you like collectathon platformers. But 10 out of fucking 10? Do you know what you gotta be to get a 10 out of 10? You have to beat Baldur's Gate fucking 3. Alright? And I have reservations about that.
You know, if okay, I didn't play Baldur's Gate 3. We know that.
Yeah.
But if I gave any game in the last few years a 10 out of 10, it would probably be Astrobot. Would be the closest. I think I actually did a review on it, and I think I gave it a 94.
And they bullied you. They bullied you into making it lower.
No, they didn't bully me into making it lower.
I was fucking with him. I really enjoyed 3 RPGs last year. And that was Veilguard, Metaphor, and Persona 3 Reload. I thought they were all great games. And I stand by that. I still think the majority consensus on Veilguard is wrong. My opinions haven't changed. I will not be swayed. I know what I played. But, like, I think I'd give all those, like, an 8.5 out of 10. Like, they had some parts that I didn't like. Significant parts that bogged me down. I think the most inconsistent one was probably Metaphor. Like, it had some amazing parts. And then it had some parts in it where I was like, this kind of fucking sucks. Like, I can't wait for this to end. Like, Veilguard had, what, 3 really bad cutscenes, and that was like the lowlights of the game, and the rest was pretty solid. And Persona 3 Reload was pretty good all throughout, but you know, it's hard for me to overrate a remake. I don't know. Maybe that's my own bias against remakes. Like, I still struggle with that one because, like, you know, some people will bitch if you change too much, some will bitch if you change too little, and I kind of don't think you're never going to make everybody happy with this. Well, no, they complain about that. You're getting 3, and they're like, "Fuck out, trying to money gouge me." It's like, all right, yeah, they're trying to. This is one thing I'm going to defend Square Enix on. Jesus Christ.
There are a few subset of people that just fucking hate the Yakuza RPGs.
Well, those people are cretins. Like,
oh yeah,
they shouldn't exist. He said the Yakuza RPGs, yeah. So I don't dislike the other ones. I've only played like an hour of one. It's not for you, bitch. Don't play it.
I remember when
No, but see, here's the thing. Like, my response to that is, you got that fucking, what was that spin-off where you were, like, in feudal Japan?
Ishin.
And then you got the 2 Judgment games, and then you got the Yakuza Man Who Has No Name or whatever. It's not like you're not getting normal Yakuza games.
Pirate Yakuza.
Yeah, you're getting plenty of these games, okay?
I mean, that right there, Pirate Yakuza, is like, it's fucking Majima as a pirate.
Yeah. Oh, I'd never bothered stunning normal enemies. It's pretty much a gimme on the boss, though. Mm-hmm. Did you already beat the boss? Oh.
By the way, I don't think you're going to be platinum in this.
Why?
Because there's, like I said, the all perks trophy is a pain in the ass.
Okay, I don't.
Grinding in. Well, they showed it. They showed it in a trailer before the game released, but there's these Pac-Man mazes. And you, in order to get a perk, you have to have like a perfect run on in these mazes, and it's fucking hard.
Sounds like a job for Greg. I'll worry about that when I get to it. I've done some dumb shit for platinum.
These aren't normal Pac-Man mazes.
Why, do they actually have some gameplay to them?
Yeah. These did you unlock the little mini Pac-Man stuff yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's those controls are horrible.
Yeah, I'm still deciding what I hate less, the auto move or the manual move.
And these Pac-Man mazes are all about that.
I'll worry about that when I get to it. What, are they timed or something?
Yeah, they're timed. There's a few of them I haven't even finished yet because they're a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I did this. Everything else is standard Metroidvania stuff. And all the other trophies were pretty easy to get.
There's not a lot of trophies in that game.
Yeah, surprising. I'm surprised they didn't add more.
I think there's like 20, and it's like, you know, when you're getting silvers for doing basic stuff, that they didn't put much effort into the trophy list. I don't know. I just hate how fucking Nintendo always gets their shit glazed.
Yeah, someone, I was watching a streamer play Donkey Kong, and he loves Nintendo games for the most part. Huge fan of Donkey Kong, huge fans of Mario. He gave Donkey Kong Bonanza a 8 out of 10, I think.
I was watching this streamer play Donkey Kong.
Well, it wasn't that stream. It wasn't that streamer.
Oh my god. It was DSP, Greg.
This streamer doesn't wage quit.
Oh, did he wage quit it already?
I don't know, probably. It wouldn't surprise me. I heard he spent like fucking like the first day of streaming just digging every little bit out of the first area just to make probably the playthrough as dull as possible.
I mean,
he doesn't have to go that far to make
yeah,
it
it's
dull.
him playing. It's already garbage. I don't know. Like from what little like going back to this, I'm bouncing around today. From a little I played of the new Rogue Trader patch, it seems pretty solid. Like, this game is probably worth playing at this point in time. It's just with my profession, you gotta play these Owlcat games at the worst possible fucking time, which is any time within the first 2 years of launch. Yeah, after they've been out on the market and, you know, they've actually had time to finish the fucking game, they're a lot better, supposedly. They definitely have added a lot of stuff with all the DLC and whatnot. Like, some of my old saves don't work correctly anymore because I played at the very beginning and then I haven't touched the game since like the second month after it was launched. And so, like, I'm just getting random crashes every time I try to, like, go to a different screen or travel through space. I'm like, alright, well, this is pretty much what I expected from Owlcat. So I start a new game up, and it works fine. I guess it just doesn't like my old saves. And as soon as I get to the flagship, there's, like, all new kinds of areas I can do, events triggering that I've never seen before. So I'm like, alright, I guess it was kind of a good idea. I had to restart anyways, because I never would have seen some of this stuff if I didn't, so. Yeah. No. I'm being paid to do it, so I don't care. It's not my problem. I have no intention to do it. So whatever. They can ask me to, but I don't. The thing is, it's not set up like a proper walkthrough anyways. They're just a bunch of conjoined pages covering hot topics. Yeah, so you can see why I don't want to touch it. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't want to do it. I didn't make them write the guide like that. I didn't make them put 5 people on it and tell us to fucking hunt for, you know, keywords and gaps to fill instead of writing a perfect... No, I want a guide. So, if you want me to go and write this as a proper guide, then maybe we can talk, but I'm not gonna try to cobble everyone's broken shit together, including my own old shit that might be broke. I don't care. I don't care. That's not what I'm being paid to do. Well, I mean, you know what? If people want to write shit, if people want us to write shit to appease an algorithm, and then the algorithm changes its fucking mind, that's not my problem. It's just not. It's not my problem. So, you know what? No, it's their problem. They tried to appease something that had no nose for objective utility. They were writing to appease a robot, and if that robot doesn't like the smell of their shit anymore, then, well, too fucking bad. No, I don't give a shit. Go for it. If you know, I know you agree with me. That's the thing too. Like, Nope, 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 nope. Some of it pops as soon as you like start traveling towards story objectives in the first act. Some like that Blade Dancer chick already joined my party. I haven't done. I recruited the navigator, and then she joined my party. And I seen online that there's some stuff that starts in Act 4. I'm like, I'm nowhere near that. Like that's gonna take me legit days or weeks to play through to that part. So no, I've got like 7 pages just from the stuff that's available in Act 1. And I haven't even written up like the first major quest for one of them. So, like, all that stuff on the Void ship is new. There's all kinds of new things you can do. Like, all those baths, those are new. Those weren't in the Lord Captain's quarters before this. The shrine, the chapel, none of that stuff was in the original version of the game. So, that's all stuff that I've been able to write pages on. Changing your appearance in the fucking mirror. Couldn't do that in the base game. So it's not like there's been a dearth of content. It's just, I'm sure you'll agree with that. Rogue Trader is one of those games where you have to put a lot of time playing to get to any decent amount of writing. Like, there are some games where the playtime and writing time are more even, but Rogue Trader, it takes forever to do shit in that game. Like, talking to people, going through combat turn by turn. It's not a fast game. So, no, yeah, but especially since they can fuck you at any time. Like, there are some encounters that are harder than others, but there are a lot of encounters in Baldur's Gate where rolling a 1 at the wrong time can really hurt. You know what fight in Baldur's Gate? Like, I don't know if you remember any specific examples, but there were some fights that gave me way more trouble than I thought they should have. Like, the first time you run into those gnolls in Act 1, and I was like, they beat the shit out of me the first time I fought. I'm like, what the I was 2, because I'm trying to explore the map, so I was level 2. Yeah, that was bullshit. Which treasure quest? Oh, Zentarum. Okay. You're lucky I read so many Forgotten Realms novels back in the day. Oh yeah, so you're running up on the walls now in that first area. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the game is definitely weird because they're trying to force some like multiverse thing with a bunch of old arcade games. Yeah, that's that Secret Level show on Amazon Prime. That episode with Pac-Man was a prequel to this.
They're not gonna make me play Space Invaders, are they?
I mean,
I'm good. I can do Centipede. I can do what, that frog hop shit, Frogger, whatever it was. Yeah, but I was never good at
I don't even know if Space Invaders is Namco or not.
Yeah. The ultimate branded game experience. Right, we have something else we can talk about, Greg. So, I platinumed Visions of Mana this past week. I beat the super boss at the end, and then I realized that the game wants you to, like, you have to do that in hard mode, and there's no way to refight it. So I replayed through the whole thing again, skipped every bit of dialogue, which, not really. New Game Plus. To get the trophy. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I wasn't paying attention to all those tries. I just wanted to beat it. It's not that long if you're skipping all the dialogue. I'll say this, like... Visions of Mana is a game where they will take 4 or 5 paragraphs to say things that could be said in 2 sentences. And I think somewhere they're trying to build up, like, characterization for your MP, or for your companions by having them, like, comment on every event. But they're all, like, you know what they're gonna say before they even say it most of the time. And they're not adding anything interesting. Like, okay, for one thing, if you play Jule, like, if this is a character you electively choose to play, you're a pedophile and you're evil and I hate you. The little plant freak. Yeah, alright? That's creepy, it's gross, it's a little child, you have things wrong with your brain. Right? If you prefer to run around with that little toddler-legged freak, then you're wrong. You're evil, you're bad, you probably shouldn't be allowed around children. No, he sucks. He's terrible. He's miserable. I played him exactly one time electively. There's another trophy I couldn't easily get. It was filling out the bestiary, and there's apparently like a frog enemy that mutates if you get it to low health. Okay. I can't remember the names of these places. You know, I'm 40 years old. I don't remember this shit. He's in one of the desert places. What's that, Jared?
No, yeah, there's certain enemies that mutate when they're low at health.
Yeah. Well, the problem was I was at the end of the game and I couldn't get them low on health. I'd kill them instantly. So, the weakest character I had, because I never played him because he sucks because he looks like a toddler, was that July, and he's a caster, so he's, you know, not doing a lot of physical damage anyways. So I gave him the weakest weapon he could have and had him run up there and hit one of those things. I'm just running around this area as this character, and I'm like, you are just... No, that didn't do anything for any other character, because weak weapon, like...
I think...
I'll get to that, but...
I think they... I don't remember any of the names of the characters. There's a skill the cat or whatever guy does that does percentage damage.
Yeah, I didn't have that. I wasn't going to go buy shit for that. So, like, I'm running around this desert place as this little toddler-looking fucker, and I'm just like, there are people in this world that willingly choose to play this character, and I hate them. I hate every single one of you. If you're listening, I hate you. If you choose to play this character, you're a bad person. You're an evil person. Well, if you need healing in that game, you just need to get good. Why do you need a healer in that game? You fought him with Jule in your party? Oh my god. You know how many times I needed to actually heal fighting that guy? I don't fucking know. I had Palomina. I had Palomina and what's... Well, my main character pretty much all the time, yeah. Okay, well, skill issue. Carmina was my healer, and she was just set like only to heal and buff. So I don't know what she was doing. She was probably healing Palomina the entire... I'm surprised nobody got KO'd in that fight, honestly. Oh wow, I'm taking damage. What are you playing now? I must have totally forgotten this part. I was kind of working on our current project and playing Shadow Labyrinth at the same time, so whenever Shadow Labyrinth would do something story-wise, I'd just put it down and focusing on the other game. I'll admit I wasn't paying. So, like, Jared, do I have to, like, be, like, attacking walls in Shadow Labyrinth to see if there's secrets?
There are some false walls, but
Okay, because
nothing's...
Go on.
Most of the walls you attack to break are marked on the map.
Oh, well, that makes it a little easy.
It can only be attacked from one direction.
I wasn't paying the most attention to that while I was playing earlier. But yeah, these characters in Visions of Mana are kind of bland. Not gonna lie. I don't think they ever satisfactorily come to a conclusion about this whole, like, hey, let's murder people for the mana tree thing. Well, and then the main character and his good wife character start questioning it, and then bad shit happens, and then they're not really, like, it kind of comes up sometimes, but based on how the game ends, it kind of seems like that shouldn't be necessary anymore. But it's never, I don't remember it ever being definitively said, you defeated the big bad, so this doesn't need to happen anymore. Do you remember that being said? Because I don't. Like, you think that would be a bigger plot point than it was. Garbage. Garbage. I don't think the combat was all that good either, honestly. It's fine, but I don't even think it's a particularly good ARPG from the combat standpoint. I was expecting to be able to, like, dual class and really start mixing and matching things a lot earlier. You're able to do some of that in a sense. Well, that's it. You basically get the ability to start combining. You can use spells at any, like, once you unlock a spell or an ability, you can use that on any tree. You just have to equip it. But, like, the passive abilities, the things that actually make the classes worth using, those don't unlock until pretty much post game, right? And how much post game content is there? There's like 4 bosses and a super boss, right? How many new dungeons? Not even one. I think there's, like, a new screen. A new screen in an old dungeon. And I don't think there's any new enemies on that screen, except for the super boss itself. And 4 of the bosses that you end up fighting in the post game are just bosses you fought earlier. This is an incredibly lazy game. Like, every expense was spared. Now, I get it. It's a mana game. It's cozy. What was the other one? Oh, okay, yeah. That was some bullshit. That was some bullshit. Only good thing I can say about the Black Rabbit is you a rabbite. You don't have to fight that one on hard mode, God forbid. I'm not sure I'd platinum that game. Fight that thing on hard mode. But then again, I didn't. My party was way more souped up by the time I fought the real super boss, the one you have to fight on hard mode, the dragon or whatever. I don't know. There's so many problems with that game. Yeah, those are by far the best RPG mechanic in the game, by far. The like mixing your vessels, that comes too late to really be like that useful. Um, I've seen people talking about how they've done like multiple playthroughs to get enough uh, EP to max out everybody and give everybody everything, and I'm like, good God, that's some overkill. Like, I don't really think there's that much gain to be made after you get 3 of the best vessels for each character. I guess it depends what you're trying to do, but like, I wanted Palomina to be able to just nuke stuff. And she kind of had like a light crit build. Crit was kind of important for her, but she also had that ability that made, like, lowered enemies' magic defense, when her spells landed critical hits, which was pretty much all the time. Because spells in that game, like, the best ones are usually multi-hit. One of them's gonna crit and lower defense. Morley, the little fox dude, apparently he gets an ability that just makes his special attacks super overpowered. And then if you just stack a bunch of crit on him, he becomes just ridiculous. He was doing like 12,000 damage to enemies, and all you have to do is hold down triangle for him to do it. And I'm like, all right, that's interesting. Palomina, I don't know if there's a good build for her out there, but I just set her to buff everybody. Or not Palomina, Carmina. I used her to buff because she has that ability that like makes your buffs indefinite, and I was like, all right, so I just have to have her like manually before every big fight, have her buff up my magic attack and magic defense, and then the rest of the fight she can just sit there and heal and attack, and I'll just stand back as Palomina and nuke everything. And that pretty much worked on everything except the big dragon at the end. So I didn't use Val much. I mean, you have to use them at the beginning. I didn't use July except for that one trophy. That's probably true, actually. I think the correct answer, if we're being honest, like 100% honest, is have somebody buff attack and heal. Have Palomina just be nuking things idly, like you don't have to actually control her, and you actively take control of Morley and just sit there and spam a special attack with as much crit boost, crit damage, and special attack damage boost. Yeah, so they're definitely, you can have 2, you can have enough, and I think one of the classes for Morley just gives them a whole bunch of crit chance, so you don't even need those. You don't even need the crit chance seeds on them. Just give them crit damage, and watch him go nuts. So I think probably controlling Morley and just making sure he's spamming that one attack over and over again is probably the best active DPS you can get in that game. But that's hypothetical. No. So very flawed game. I like the graphics. I like how colorful it all is. I love how I kind of love the fucking like innocent naivete in all of it. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I was recognizing some of them. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I did hear about that. Well, they were apparently, like, not an internal Square Enix studio. They were apparently, like, this was a contracted thing. Yeah, so this was like a Tencent studio, one of those companies, one of those shithole. Yeah. Um, oh, well, we got news related to that. We got news related to that. But, yeah, I mean, so, like, this is one of the two IPs in the entire gaming world where I won't sit here and go, well, that was stupid. Obviously, the little fat squirrel guy was bad. We should have probably done something about him way earlier. Like, I'm not going to sit there and make those criticisms. It's in the same bag as, like, Dragon Quest, where I'm like, no, like, everyone's a happy idiot in these games. It's fine. It's fine. I don't... So, it is what it is. I don't want them to start, like, making Game of Thrones inspired mana games, but the RPG elements could have been deeper. You probably should have gained the ability to start mixing and matching vessels, like, halfway through the fucking game instead of at the end. The end game probably should have been more substantial, especially if you were gonna really hide the ability to get cross vessel passes at that point. And I don't know. I don't think combat was all that deep, especially for the vast majority of the game. Like, we're sitting here talking about all the tactics that we were using at the end, but you don't have that much EP to spend to unlock this stuff. Most of the time, you're better off just sticking to one tree for most of it, and they don't unlock that many. They don't unlock all the abilities for all these trees until, oh, guess what? Post game. So, like, it feels like a game whose RPG mechanics didn't really become acceptably robust until the game was pretty much done. And that bugs me. That really does bug me. I hate it when games do that. A lot of JRPGs are guilty of that to some degree. Like, I'm not that stupid. I'm pretty stupid, but I can figure out, like, rotating buffs and debuffs and certain things into my combat rotation a lot earlier than these games tend to make it available. That's enough time. I will learn. I think that's one of the reasons I like Persona is they want you to start mixing those strategies in a lot earlier than some of these other JRPGs that I've been playing recently. Wow, not really, the past decade. So I don't know, man. It was that good a game, really. It had good parts. It was okay. Better or worse than the first Dragon's Dogma? You are insane. You are insane. The answer, sir, is much worse. You can have History of Mana. Oh my god, the storytelling in Dragon's Dogma. Yeah, you just had me thrown in prison for... You think I'm fucking your wife, but now I broke out. You had to know you didn't let me out, right? Right? You never gave that order. Here I am, standing here. Hey, did my balls smell like your wife still? No? Okay, then I guess we're friends again. No, that game, that game didn't even try to tell stories half the time. It's just like, yeah, no, well, we played around with this plot element. Aren't you happy you did this? Isn't that fun? All right, now get back to the regular story. Well, Dragon's Dogma had way better combat. I'm not even going to argue that. Like, two aren't even comparable. We should... I mean, if you want to say them. Trials of Mana, yes. Visions of Mana, all right. Before we get into actual, like, gaming news, fuck is that shit? So, we've had a pretty busy week over here for you know, shut-ins who don't do much of anything. Rebecca had to go to a work training, a work conference, I don't know what it is. She doesn't tell me. I'm sure there was fucking NDA, HIPAA, whatever the fuck it was. You had to go meet her boy. Well, whoever her boyfriend is, he needs to start fucking contributing more money to this household, because the first thing that she said to me when she had to go up to Louisville, which is where like all this healthcare center shit is, in the region. Because we live in Tennessee, she works in Hopkinsville, so technically she does Kentucky stuff. And oh, that sounds Kentucky stuff. Anyways, she gets there. I think she leaves on Wednesday. She had to work the day before she left, by the way. And then she had to work the day she got back. So she has been working pretty much nonstop since last Thursday. Like, she hasn't had a day off. But she leaves on Wednesday. I think she gets off work at 2 in the morning and then has to wake up and start driving to Louisville at 10 is when she left. And Louisville's about 3 or 4 hours away. So she gets there, and her check-in's at like 3 or something. And the first thing she posts is like she takes a picture of like the rates. And apparently the room she was staying at was a suite that was almost as big as our house, and it cost $1,200 a night. I'm like, can they not just send you like to a Motel fucking 7 and you pocket? Yeah, and just pocket the rest of that fucking money and bring it home, because like, you don't need to be staying in a $1,200 a night. She gets paid like maybe $50,000 a year. All right, I want to. It was a 4-star hotel, Greg. It was a 4-star hotel. So, in Louisville, Kentucky, apparently. What, you don't think Tennessee has 4-star hotels? We have Nashville. Of course we do. Of course we do. Of course we do, Greg. We've got some proper first world blue cities in the midst of all this hillbilly shit. So, so I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ. Why the fuck is she, like, that's like 1/20th of her annual salary spent on this. Well, it wasn't her job doing it. I'm not going to get into it, but she's like, the place she works for is a contractor, right? She doesn't actually work for the state, but it's like a state adjacent contractor. So she's got a pension from Kentucky, but she's not actually a state employee, and they get money from all kinds of places. You gonna take a bath? So I don't know all the organizations that contribute to. It wasn't her job that sent her there. It was an affiliate of her job, who's also. They shouldn't. You know how pissed I'd be if they had that kind of money to pony up and it wasn't going into her pockets. Like, I'll just put it this way, Greg. Rebecca, the CEO of the company Rebecca works for, is not making that much more money than you. Because they're a publicly, or they're a public not-for-profit, I think. Their salary has to be publicized. I think they're making like $157,000 a year. So it's more than you, but they've got to have a lot more credentials than you do. So they're it's not the hugest operation in the world, but they're partnered with things like various hotlines and other services and whatnot. So I guess somebody paid for that, and when she was done, she said, I didn't learn a single fucking thing I didn't already know. And apparently she had a $60 day per diem, which sounds pretty sweet, but unlike you, apparently she couldn't just go to like Walmart and buy bags of Doritos. No. Yeah. She brought a cooler with her, and I think she got a pizza, which doesn't really need to be froze. Like, it doesn't need to be refrigerated that quickly. She bought a pizza on her way home. I think that's the most she did. So I told her, like, if you can just go to like Walmart and you buy a bunch of bags of Doritos, just do that shit. She's like, no, I can't. So she went to some with her coworker. She went to a Mexican place, and she spent like $47 there on a meal. Which, if you know Rebecca, is like, she would never spend $47 on a meal if it was coming out of her wallet. And she got like some chicken and shrimp stuff on rice with, I don't know. She brought some of it home. She got some of it in a doggy bag, brought it home. I got to eat some steak and shrimp. And I'm like, this is fucking good. She's like, the chicken was better. And I was like, oh, so why didn't I get any of that? And she's like, it's mine. So, $47 well spent. I got some leftovers. It was fine. But yeah, she was there for 2 days-ish. And she's sitting here, goodbye, doggies, goodbye, I love you, be good. And well, no, like, right before she leaves. And she wants me to send her pictures of the dogs all the time. I kept sending her pictures of Zan. Because when Zan couldn't go in Rebecca's room and snuggle her, he decided to become really friendly with me all of a sudden. No, well, what am I going to do? Torture her by not showing her the dogs? No. She gets to see her dogs. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not a bad husband, unlike some people here. The only dog I shit you not, and she's sleeping for work, by the way. She's got to work tonight. She doesn't get a day off until Tuesday. The only dog that actually acted sad that she was gone was Yangus. He sat there by the door. He splooted with his nose touching the corner of the door and just stared at the door for like 4 hours. I shit you not. He was despondent that she was gone and just sat there and camped out the door. Until it was time to feed them, and then he forgot who Rebecca was. So Zan, her beloved Zan, that little traitor, he was in my room within 5 minutes. So, and then she came back, and I know she was looking for a big reunion, because these dogs, if we go shopping and we leave them for like an hour or two, when we come back, we are getting the happiest, most loving puppies for like half an hour. Oh, we were never going to come back. We were lost forever, and then we are reunited against all fate, all odds. Unfortunately for Rebecca, it was storming when she came back, and all the dogs were in my room, because for some reason they decided that this one particular storm is going to scare all of them except for Yangus. And she was able to come back in the house without them even noticing. They didn't even bark. I didn't notice that she was back until she opened the door to my room, because it's hot as fuck here, and I don't want to run AC. This is how fucking old fogey I am. I don't want to run enough AC units to keep the entire house cold. So, you know what? The kitchen, the living room, that can be hot. I'm never out there anyways. I work in a different room. I got all the shit I need here. I can be hot for a little bit while I'm cooking and getting water. But my room, Rebecca's room, and the bathroom are the only rooms that really need to be cool all the time. So, I keep my door closed, and the dogs want out, they let me know, but otherwise my door's not opening or closing unless I'm going out of it. And so, she opens the door, all the dogs are in here, they just look at her like, oh, hey, she's back, cool. She didn't get jumped on, she didn't get mugged, she got sniffed. No. She was like, what useless guard dogs are you? So, yeah, she was gone for all those days. She didn't get the warm reception she probably thought she was going to get. Our corgis failed her. But whatever, no hard feelings, I guess. She should be lucky that they survived me watching them for a couple of days without anything happening to them. I walked them one of the days, and they saw a rabbit on the driveway. And two of the dogs are too stupid to be walked without a leash. That's Joker and Zan. And the other two, they know where they live, and they're not going to usually go run out on the road or do anything stupid. Yangus and Moxie are generally fine. So they all decided they're just going to bolt after this rabbit as soon as they see it, as soon as they get outside. And unfortunately, they're 30-pound dogs, so, you know, they can't pull themselves free of my grasp. But Moxie and Yangus are gone, and then that rabbit just decides to go, yeah, I'm a rabbit, so fuck you. And, man, it outpaced those corgis so fast, I was like, damn, I thought they'd put up more of a fucking chase than that. That rabbit was at least twice as fast as his corgis were. It was so fast that they kind of stopped after like 30, 40 feet and were like, ah, fuck it, we're not getting that thing. I was surprised by how much shade that rabbit threw on these corgis. Because, like, you know, they got these dumpy little legs, but they're fast, man. But that rabbit was like, you ain't nothing. No, they're not. So, I mean, like, you'd think corgis can't run, but they can run. They can run. They're not going to win any, they're not going to, like, beat a greyhound, but they're going to outrun you. They're going to outrun you handily. And they're not going to really break a sweat doing it. Well, to be fair, I mean a normal, healthy human, they can outrun you. Much less all the corpulent slobs on this podcast. I bet Jared's the one of us who's in the best shape. If I put money on, I'd put Jared over both of us, honestly. He's bigger than us. He's taller, that's for sure. So, you know, he spends time helping his mom out. He's probably got more muscles, too. I think.
I don't know. Round's a shape.
You don't know what round can be until you see me. I don't know. Yeah, right. Greg's more pear-shaped. I'm more round. I don't know what Jared looks like. I've only ever really seen his like forearms, but if I had to put money on it, I'd say Jared would beat both me and Greg up in a fight at the same time. He'd probably be able to handle us both. That's my wager right now. So, right. And then I'm kind of noticing while Rebecca's gone, and a little bit before that too, but, you know, it's a little vague suspicion. The ice in my freezer is a little glistenier than usual. We don't have an ice maker, so, you know, we just have 6 ice cube trays. I crack like a peasant. I crack those things, and that's how I get my ice. I'm noticing, like, I'm noticing the ice cubes are a little bit, yeah. I'm noticing the ice cubes are a little glistenier than usual. They're not melting, like there's no water at the bottom of the tray or anything, but you know what it looks like when they're kind of on the edge there. And so I'm like, that's a bit weird, but you know what? It is like 93 degrees here and 80% humid, so, and we don't keep the room outside cool, so, you know, I imagine the fridge is working overtime to keep that shit cold. Plus, you know, we have 2 fridges, by the way. That's how fat we are. We have like a bread fridge and a vegetable fridge, which, you know, same fridge, but we keep some stuff in one fridge, some stuff in the other fridge. And that mostly just happened as a fluke. My parents wanted to get rid of a fridge. And I was like, does it work? Mom, I was like, yeah. I'm like, so what's wrong with it? She's like, well, we got this new fridge with French doors. It was like $2,000, but it was normally $4,000 sticker price. If you know my mom, if it's on sale, it means she has to buy it. Even if she doesn't need it. So obviously this was something that she just had to buy. And I'm like, all right, well, if this fridge still works, we'll take it. And she's like, don't you already have a fridge? I'm like, yeah, but I have two like slots on the outlet, you know, what's the harm? It'll be fine. So you don't understand. You don't understand. Greg, are you a sane normal person with one fridge? Okay, I was gonna say, because once you have 2 fridges, you realize, oh no, this is just better. We have a standing deep freeze too, so we got lots of cold making ability in this house, just not for us. Only if we're gonna eat you do you get to be cold. But this one, I'm like opening the refrigerator part. I'm like, this soda doesn't feel cold as much as it feels kind of cool. And over the course of the week, I'm noticing it's kind of getting worse, and I start poking around things, like the Cool Whip. The Cool Whip is soft. I'm like, that's not what Cool Whip in a freezer is supposed to be like. And it's pretty clearly that this fridge, which to be fair is 23 years old, is losing the battle against entropy here. And so I'm like, This thing's gonna fucking die. This thing's on its way out. I don't know when it's gonna kick the bucket, but it's that bucket's starting to rattle a little bit, and I don't want everything in this fridge to go bad. I don't want to really play the long game. So probably time to shop for a fridge while we have the money, instead of, when it's an emergency and then we need to try to stuff shit into a fucking cooler and hope it survives. Spoiler, it doesn't survive that long in a cooler. And I don't want to get myself food poisoning going, this fridge is probably fine. So, yeah, we bought a fridge. We bought the cheapest fridge we could find, because we're not fancy. We don't need a fridge with, like, a fucking touchscreen LED front or an ice cube fucking machine on the front or a water dispenser. None of that shit. It's a fridge. It fridges in fridge-like ways. Big white rectangle. Keeps your stuff cool. That's all you really need. So that's coming on Tuesday. So that'll be fun, getting that in and sorting all that shit out. Yeah, that's just what's going on down here. Not a whole lot, but still more than usual. Buying appliances, sending the wife to 4-star hotels. So, yeah, right? Could buy 2 fridges for every day at that fucking hotel. Just makes you go, like, there's such a profound difference in this country between the haves and the have-nots. And us at the bottom here, I don't even think we realize. Like, we know it's bad, but I don't think we realize, like, have internalized just how bad it really is. Like, if you can afford to stay at a 4-star hotel, you're probably evil. You're probably an evil person. That's just my knee-jerk assumption. She couldn't afford it. Someone else afforded it on her behalf. And she's kind of evil. Trust me, if she had the opportunity to go, nah, I'll take the $1,200 and I will find my own accommodations, she'd have been coming home every day with $1,000 extra bucks. Because she would have stayed in some ghetto-ass motel and just locked the door. You know what, for that money, she could have bought herself a fucking handgun with the money she had left over. And so, Jared says some of the bosses are shitty later on. Oh no, you're totally my fallback plan. If there's anything I don't want to do, I'm just like, this is the part Greg can write up. I should have bought the game on PC. Been like, Greg, give me your save file. Get me past this shit. I want to do it. Oh yeah. Surprised you bought the game digitally and didn't just go to GameStop or something. Greg's like, who says I didn't? It seems like a game that's going to go down in price, so I'm not too worried about it. I just bought it digitally too. Like, I ain't got time to fuck around with this shit. Plus, I didn't have a car, so if anything would have happened, could have been bad, but whatever. One car household here. All right, let's get some gaming news. You were complaining about. You probably exist, whoever you are, somewhere. Just reminds me I didn't have my own Twitch up. So if there was anybody talking, I didn't see it. All right. So remember we were complaining about those Chinese fuckers earlier, Greg? Gothos Andre, co-founder of French video game website Origami, has reported on Blue Sky that mass layoffs are underway at Virtuos, the studio behind Oblivion Remastered and the upcoming Metal Gear Solid Delta. Virtuos is a co-development studio that has contributed to everything from Dark Souls Remastered to Age of Mythology Retold, and is currently working with CD Projekt Red on the never-ending cycle of Cyberpunk 2077 updates. It's got offices around the world and apparently enough staff that the 300 people Andre's reports are at risk make up only 7% of the workforce. Still, it's got to be rough. Now, this is from PC Gamer, by the way. Still got to be rough to be one of the people waiting to hear the bad news when you worked on Oblivion Remastered, one of the year's best-selling games. This is a quote from the guy who's reporting this. Virtuos is said to have made significant efforts on Oblivion, Andres writes, via Google Translate, with a policy of over-quality relative to the budget and a contract without royalties, without bonuses indexed to the game's success. The result, the teams put to the test for purely showcase games doomed to see profitability question. So, my interpretation of this was Virtuos made a bid to develop The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, decided to over-deliver, probably to make themselves look good with Microsoft, then decided the venture wasn't profitable enough, so they canned the developers. A lose-lose situation if you're one of the people actually doing any of the work. And I understand why Virtuos would do it. This is going to make it more likely that they'll get contracts from ZeniMax, Bethesda, Ubisoft eventually. But I'm sure that's a cold comfort to the people who are actually working on this game and got fired for it anyways, because there was no realistic chance of it turning a profit at whatever contract Virtuos agreed to do it for. I'm sure there's some shithead on the internet who will say, yeah, but all these people got work experience so they can put it on their CV now. It's like, okay, yeah, that makes up for losing your job. So, just want to point out that, Greg, this isn't a China thing. This is a capitalism thing. That's not the only layoff we've had in the gaming sphere. Multiple sources have given us an insight what's happening into Candy Crush maker King as it prepares to cut 200 staff. Speaking to Candy Crush developer King. Okay, well, it's jobs being lost and that game's making money. Making money for someone. Speaking to mobilegamer.biz anonymously, they claim many of the staff cut will effectively be replaced by the AI tools they built and trained. The London-based Farm Hero Saga team is being cut in half, with about 50 people leaving, including key leadership. One staffer claims employees are being targeted by HR for loudly expressing dissatisfaction internally. This is why you don't report anything to HR, by the way. There's another news story where some CEO got caught on a kiss cam at a Coldplay concert with the head of HR. So if you're wondering why you ever complain to HR about something and things only got worse, HR isn't there to make your life better. It's there to forestall you from taking any actions that may actually be helpful. King told staff it will present a new org. Well, apparently even HR has to branch out the economy. King told staff it will present a new org chart in September after union negotiations. Many staff are now in limbo for the summer. A recent internal survey showed morale at an all-time low at King. So, more layoffs in the gaming sphere. And you know what? Let's just report on this right now, because I'm gonna lump this in together with layoffs as a future layoff, a layoff watch, a layoff countdown. How about that? Ubisoft has been failing hard for the last couple of years, so they bundled some of their biggest IPs, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow Six, and sold stake in it to Tencent to raise money. They did this to protect their core business from the usual demands investors put when they put money in, like changing leadership or holding people accountable if things don't improve. We talked about this maneuver a while ago, remember? Ubisoft hasn't been selling for shit. They've been overdeveloping, under-delivering, and they just released a report earlier today, which isn't anything like it's news, but I don't have an actual story for it. They're basically bragging about the profitability that they get from like microtransactions and shit like that. And it's like, all right, but you still don't got money to continue developing the way you've been developing. And I don't know if anybody at Ubisoft has really thought about this, but if people aren't buying your games in the first place, how are you going to sell microtransactions? But you know what? They're bragging about it, so I guess that's all that matters for them. But we remember this scam they did. They decided to put up their only IPs that generate any sort of real attention or revenue together in a subsidiary. So the Guillemot family could basically leverage these IPs for outside investment without actually having to risk their own jobs in any way or their own company. Because if you let somebody invest in your own company, well, by golly, they might actually get enough power to force the incompetent pedophile rapist enabler that's running the company to not be running the company anymore. We can't have that. And if you're wondering if any lessons have been learned or anything has changed at all, remember Tencent put in $1 billion into the subsidiary that is basically just these key Ubisoft IPs. The new head of this Tencent Ubisoft subsidiary is Yves Guillemot's son, Charles Guillemot. So no lessons have been learned. Nepotism is alive and well at Ubisoft, and I expect this to fail spectacularly. I expect it to be a slow fail, but I expect it to be a fail. Unless secretly Charles is like a gaming savant and didn't get his position as CEO of this subsidiary his daddy owned because of his last name. But I'll let you be the judge of that. Square Enix has announced a Life is Strange collection, a collection including all 5 Life is Strange games. I thought there were only 2, but what do I know? It will launch on October 2nd for PlayStation, or for $60 on PlayStation 5. Pre-orders are now available via the Square Enix store. Most of these games are codes in a box. So even if you really wanted a way to get your hands on all these games in one convenient bundle, this ain't it. The PlayStation... Well, no, some of them are. Some of them are. I think 3 of them are. So I'm just saying, if you want a bundle, like... I forgot to put this down as news, but I remember it, so we don't need to. They are releasing a Ryza trilogy bundle. Excuse me. That will include all deluxe edition content. Basically, all the bullshit extra crap you could want with these games, but you probably didn't want to pay for originally, are going to be on disc with a bundle for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. The only problem is, I think only the Japanese version is getting a physical release or something like that, but it has English text. So it's one of those things that you probably look for on plays. Like if you wanted the ultimate version of all these games on disc, this is probably the one you want, and you'll just have to get the Japanese version from PlayAsia. So that's a news story, not a huge news story, but is what it is. The PlayStation 4 versions of Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth Trilogy, I'm not going to read them all out, will launch both physically and digitally in North America and Europe on September 30th, Publisher Idea Factory International announced. So hopefully this brings a close to this saga with these games. Are they coming? Are they not coming? Yes, they're apparently going to be here. Oh boy, Demon Hide boots. Can't live without those. So hey, if you wanted complete trilogies of Neptunia or Ryza, you're going to get a chance to buy those presumably later this year. Oh, can you hear me, Greg? Alright, my headset made a weird beep and I don't know what that was. I'd like to play through them, but yeah, I know what you mean. How many have you played? Oh, okay. I played maybe like 2 hours of the first Ryza game. I mean, it was fine from what I played. The only real criticism I have is her fucking ass cheeks clapping together is kind of distracting. I'm not even joking. Like, I'm not even trying to be lewd. It's legit like two soggy cherries fighting on the middle of your screen the whole time. It's like, all right. I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, it's funny for the first few minutes, and you're like, all right, this is actually kind of distracting. I mean, there are worse ways to be like, I thought Snake's ass undulating on Metal Gear Solid 4 was pretty distracting too, so, you know, it's not the first ass in a video game that's made me go, alright, this is a little bit much. And I will take Ryza over Snake, to be fair, but little, yeah. Old man Snake just doesn't do it. Maybe when he was younger, I don't know. Maybe if they remake Metal Gear Solid 4. No, that won't be younger Snake. They gotta remake one of the earlier ones. I don't know. Maybe, will Snake still hump the ground like old Snake did in Delta? Man, we're gonna be ground humping in 4K. I hear Rebecca moving about out there. I don't know when she actually goes to work today. Maybe she works at 10. And the last bit of news we have this week, at least the last bit that I can remember. No, Jared dropped off. This is actually annoying. I find this stupid. Square Enix has officially issued an apology to fans following backlash over a recent player title introduced in Chapter 9 of Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. The title, originally named Water Burial, was intended as a nod to Aerith's iconic and emotional farewell scene in the... Farewell scene is a way of putting it, isn't it? At the Forgotten Capital, but quickly drew criticism from players who felt the title was insensitive given the profound emotional weight surrounding Aerith's death. Oh my god, you absolute fucking pussies. Grow a goddamn set. It is a fictional fucking girl. Okay? I'll admit, I played this game as a teenager. That scene hit me in the fucking feels. But I grew up. It's fine. Okay? She was literally buried in the water. It's fits. It's apropos. Why are you apologizing? Why are you changing it? The scene was supposed to be fucking sad. It adds weight to the shit that's... Okay. I haven't finished Rebirth yet. I don't want to hear anything about it. Let's just focus on the original Final Fantasy. I burnt out on it. Too many minigames. No, legit too many minigames. Yeah. I got to like chapter, 11, 12, when you're free to do stuff, and I'm just like, oh my god. I thought there were too many minigames introduced in chapter fucking 8, and now there's just like everything. The whole fucking game is minigames now. I know I can just focus down the story, but then I'm just gonna be like, missing stuff, and it bugs me. Anyways, can you imagine how bad the original Final Fantasy VII would have been compared to what we got if Aerith didn't die in it? Like, you know how much motivation that provides the player? In hindsight, how good of a choice that was creatively? And it's kind of shitting on the creator's original intent and the whole like purpose and story arc of that character to sit here and throw a little tantrum like this. Like, what the fuck is wrong? Did you understand anything about that game? Anything about that scene? Yeah, this is why creators should, with every creative decision they make, and this includes stuff that I find cringe, like Tosh from Veilguard. If someone's crying about that shit, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Okay? It's not for you. You can't sit here and cry about fucking censorship and then go, well, the game made me sad, so they should change it. Like, you can debate something on the merits afterwards, but I think the creators should have the ability to fucking create what they want without being browbeaten by fucking whiners who can't stand that a fucking character. How is it? I just don't understand how it's insensitive. I don't know. Well, turns out we do have another little story. Apparently, a feminist group with ties to Christian organizations. So this is true horseshoe theory. I'm not going to get into politics on this one because it seems like whiny feminists and whiny fucking Christians both teamed up to make this happen. I can't remember the name of the company or group that did this, collective something. They whined to PayPal, MasterCard, some other payee companies to get some, basically to get some porn games removed from Steam. So again, if you think digital shit is safe, just keep in mind that some fucking whiny creationist group can go fucking whine to Visa at any point in time, and they can put pressure on your digital storefront to ban things that they don't like. Because this is something that just happened a few days ago. And I'm not going to defend these games because I don't actually have a list of them. I don't know what they are. For all I know, maybe there was some like borderline lolly pedo shit that got banned. And if I fucking say anything that starts to sound a little bit supportive of pedophilia, I might suffer grave consequences in this country, like becoming the president of the United States. I don't want that shit to happen. So, just want you to keep in mind, if you are sitting here defending corporations or right-wing ideology or feminism or all that shit, these people are freaks who will work to get shit banned. Huh? But they didn't. They caved. And the same groups involved with this were the groups that got Grand Theft Auto 5 banned from Target stores for a year in Australia. This is a news story I'm pretty sure we talked about years and years ago. They also complained about Detroit Become Human because there's scenes of child and women abuse in it. So like you were saying earlier, at some point you're just not going to be able to have like certain people getting mistreated in a video game. Can't have a kid get yelled at in a video game. Like, can't have, what's the name of that little fucker in God of War? I forgot his name already. Well, yeah, but can't remember his more usual name. Kratos' son. Can't have Kratos yelling boy at him because that's child abuse. So now we got to ban God of War. Like, this sounds like slippery slope shit, but they come for the porno games now, but they've tried to get other shit banned before. And they're not going to stop. So, and one of these companies, they want to ban sex toys because they view it as female exploitation. I don't use sex toys, but shut the fuck up. You're fucking freaks. You're such losers. Just plowing right through. So you're going to be as, like, keen on media for this one as you were on the last one, right? That's... Well, I mean, it was easy for the last game because it was hit F12 and you got it, right? I don't know what your capture situation is for this game. But are you just going to transfer it over via thumb drive? Can you? Oh, I didn't know you could do that. Well, that would make shit a little easier. But that's all the news we got. I'm very keen on slippery slope arguments when it comes to this stuff, especially when there's history of these people that indicate that they want to ban more than they are going after now. So, blast from the past, feminists getting things pulled from storefronts, but I guess we've had bigger fish to fry in the intervening 8 years. It must not have been enough revenue. Yeah, I mean, I doubt these games were moving that much money. Like, these were probably fringe games. I don't know what the best-selling porn game is on Steam, but I somehow don't think it's moving numbers that would make Steam fight too hard for it, especially if it's payees who are throwing a tantrum. Yeah. Oh, did you beat the third boss? Okay. Yeah. I did the whole lava stuff, like the lava volcano, or whatever. So I played a bit. I don't know, if you're able to push through the game that quickly, you might be able to just do some leapfrogging stuff. We'll worry about that later. But yeah, that's it for the news on this podcast. Well, oh yeah, probably quite a few. Shit, how many have I played? I probably can actually count the number I've played. It's not been that many. I don't think Symphony of the Night, Touhou Luna Nights, Time Spinner. There had to be more. What am I forgetting? Axiom Verge. I don't think Salt and Sanctuary counts as a Metroidvania. Is that it? Is that the only ones I played? I guess that's the recent ones. Super Metroid way back in the day. First Metroid I played through entirely was the one on the Game Boy. I can't remember which one that was. That's probably more than one on the Game Boy. I had a Metroid game on Game Boy, and I played the fuck out of it. I didn't have that many Metroid games, or many games on Game Boy, I should say, but that was probably the one I liked the most. All right, but if you have anything more to say, that'll do it for this podcast. I'm gonna finish up that one page on that guide we're working on. Yeah. I'll do that. I'm not even sure how I'm really going to format that, because I don't really want to, like, write down all the things you can do. I might just do the highlights, like, when you unlock something. I don't know. Well, I'll deal with that. I'll figure it out. All right, yeah. Yeah. Just, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Then I'll probably just try to play and record more of Shadow Labyrinth, and we can start carving out who's going to write what. Because things go by so fast at the beginning. I think we could just like sort out entire areas and pass them between each other, and that'd be fine. All right, but that'll do it for this episode of the 3G podcast. I'm going to go try and catch my wife before she goes into work. Until next time, see y'all later. Oh boy, oh boy. It'll be good when it's all done with and working, and I don't have to worry about it anymore.